Hi everyone, it's Pedro Baez, Charlie Longo, Bob Fidanza, Go for Glory Stable. Today is February 15th, 2026. This is the weekly update for last week, plus where we're going to go through all the horses, how they did, and any updates on them, plus also um, updates for the barn in general. And then also what we instituted recently is we have a topic of the week that we're going to talk about. So the topic of the week is uh, Carmine Abbatiello. His passing was recently, and he's a historic harness racing driver. And then David Miller, who's uh, the new purse earnings, I guess, champion of the game. He beat John Campbell. He has more purses than John Campbell now. So we'll get through that kind of after we get through like the beginning part of this video, before we get to all the horses. As usual, please like or subscribe the video on YouTube. It helps the channel to keep growing, and hopefully we get more owners into this game that we all love. And as usual, speaking of YouTube, our YouTube channel, we are uploading YouTube videos now. They're coming in hot and heavy almost every day. So we are uploading things almost every day. So if you want to see, keep monitoring it or subscribe so you can see if your horse is, popping up one of these days in the videos, so you can kind of see what's going on. I think today's Sunday. I think we're gonna put up Invictus soon. For Whom the Bell Tolls, we got a jogging video. So we got some other videos too. So check that out. Okay, and then with that, and then that's the videos. Um, New Game of Claims was yesterday at Poconos. We sent an update to the Game of Claims owners that we're not participating, at least in that first leg. We just didn't see anything we like. So unlikely we're going to participate in the second leg, but it's just how it is. You don't want to you don't want to do something just to do it. You gotta like have some conviction, and just none of those horses we want to be stuck with for 25,000 or more. Um, amateur trotter. We're still looking, Charlie, and we're still looking for that. Um, it just takes some time. You got to find the right one. There's like very certain types of horses we need for the amateur trotting circuits. Um, it's interesting. It's different than like the other horses we buy and stuff. Um, and then last but not least, we are looking at kind of what we've been saying. We're looking at quality horses, so we are looking at quality horses. So we'll keep you posted, but um, there's a decent chance we're going to be taking a look at a few pretty good ones soon, like this upcoming week that we want to go after. So stay tuned. You'll be notified if we do land any of these better horses that we want. And when we say better horses, they're usually going to be like around 25 to 75,000. We're not doing anything 75,000 right now, but that's kind of like the high end. But that's kind of the sweet spot of where we operate. That's where the horses can make enough money to cover the bills and everything. And you have more fun that way when you have better horses. So anyway, that's the update. That is the overall summary update for the barn in general. Um, we're gonna keep moving along, so we keep this video kind of short. Next up, unless Charlie or Bob, you have anything for the summary, next up is and by the way, Bob Fidanza does our Go for Glory Stable Gazette. He does those updates on the website, the horse updates on the website. So and the press releases. So you can all thank Bob for that. He's actually run fractional groups for like 30, 40 years. Long time, Bob, I think. Um, so all right. With that being said, Charlie, what do you think? Want to jump right into the Carmine and David Miller, or?
Yeah, let's start with Carmine. I wish we had done this last weekend, but we just thought of it this week that this would be a good time to honor the legacy of, to me, one of the greatest harness drivers of all time. When I first started following harness racing in around 1974, my dad was a big fan and started taking me to Yonkers and Roosevelt. And at that time, I was 12 years old, and Carmine was the king. We shared the Italian heritage thing, and Carmine was just a very aggressive driver, always liked to be on the front. One thing that I just found out, which I can't say that I recall, and you guys may remember this, well, Bob may, is that Carmine never used to warm up the horse, never used to score the horse down. Always used to be waiting. He used to have somebody score the horse down, and then he would jump on and then just pretty much go right to the gate, which I found really interesting. And it's amazing. He just had a feel for horses, and he did this too with first time horses, which was pretty incredible. Not even getting a feel for them scoring down. And to me, at that time, Carmine was the guy on the Roosevelt and Yonkers circuit. He was pretty much the perennial driving champion at those tracks. So he became my favorite driver. And I had the opportunity years later. The first time was at, I want to say, the Roosevelt Raceway Legacy Night, which Freddie Hudson of the Harness Racing Alumni Association put together. And a lot of the great drivers were there, and they had autograph tables set up. And that was the first time I got to actually meet Carmine, got to chat with him real briefly, talked about some of my favorite horses back then that he drove, like Mr. Sandman and Newt Lobel. And I got a nice little poster here, which I'll share with you, which was signed by many of the drivers in attendance that night. And there you see Carmine at the top. And here's another. I got to meet him again and got to talk to him a little bit more at Goshen um, at Great American Weekend, which is held around the 4th of July. And Carmine, I want to say it was the very last race that he participated in against all the other great Hall of Fame drivers. And I got to meet him on the backstretch and chat with him again. And here's the picture that I took with Carmine that day. Don't remember where he finished. I know he didn't win the race. And it was just really cool getting to meet one of the driver that I admired the most as a kid growing up. And I believe he retired. His last drive was in a pari-mutuel race was probably sometime in I want to say it was like the late 90s, maybe. Here's another photo which Carmine signed for me at Goshen, and it's actually probably the only one, which is all black and white. And look at the old helmets that they used to have. Today they're a lot more elaborate and intricately designed, and a hell of a lot more expensive. But they were quite simple back in those days. But that was Carmine, and really, really nice guy. To me, probably for my money, I put him in my top 10 of all time. And, it's kind of tough comparing drivers from decade to decade because they kind of had different driving styles. But, back then in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, I mean, Carmine drove with the best of them at Yonkers and Roosevelt. So, yeah, for me, he's in my top 10 for sure. Um, Back in the early 70s, Pedro, if you want to cue it up, I mean, Carmine was a celebrity. How many harness drivers get to be in a national commercial for a major beer company? And this was the Schaefer beer commercial that Carmine did. And let's roll it. It's pretty cool. I don't remember what year, probably early 70s is my guess. Do we have any voice on that?
Only I could hear it, but
Okay, okay. But there's
you can
Carmine,
all.
and you'll see him in the bar scene at the end, and the guy is making a comment like, Carmine, you had the winner of Pay, did you remember what he said? Something
The
about
Daily Double.
here we go.
He said, "Come." Yeah, all I heard him say,
And you
"Come into
got
the
the
circle."
check or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
But it was pretty cool. And then they were saying at the end, like, so Carmine would say, so come into the Schaefer Circle of Sports. That was a big thing. So that Schaefer Circle of Sports had many professional athletes, right, Bob, in the day? They
Yeah, I think
all
it's
different
cool that
athletes.
yeah,
It
and
wasn't
it
just a
was it
one-off
was
with
rare to
Carmine.
see a guy from racing. I think it's really cool that Carmine got in that, and like you said, it doesn't happen much today that we get that kind of notoriety in this game, but it was very cool back then. Yeah.
Yeah, and I got to look on YouTube to see what other famous athletes were in that Schaefer Circle of Sports commercial series, and you'll probably see all the top names of the day. And Carmine was a celebrity, and
Yeah.
he's going to be missed. Great guy, and I know his son Eric, and um, yeah, just a sad thing. He was 89 years old when he passed. So yeah, we're going to miss you, Carmine. Bob, you have a story about Carmine?
Yeah, when a while back, Carmine had already retired from racing, but a friend of mine, we had some horses. He had some horses with Eric, And we used to go to the barn almost every Saturday morning, and John would jog his horses, and we'd chat with Carmine and Eric and talk about the racing and stuff. And so one day, John and I are walking into the barn, and we see Carmine first. Eric's down the other end of the shed, and he calls out to him. He says, "Hey, Eric, the two wannabes are here again today." So that was my experience with Carmine. He's a bit of a sarcastic guy, but he's fun.
Yeah. Wow. So that's Carmine. The next driver we wanted to mention was David Miller, and David recently eclipsed John Campbell's lifetime earnings purses. I think he's just a shade shy of 300 million. Is that correct?
Yeah, just under. I think it's like
Just
299
under,
something.
yeah.
Yep.
I think he's maybe $6,000 or $7,000 away from the $300 million mark, which is phenomenal. Dave Miller, he got his start in the Buckeye State. That's why they call him the Buckeye. Not quite sure when he made his way over to the New Jersey circuit to the Meadowlands. But again, I'm pretty sure he got there when all the greats were there: Johnny Campbell, O'Donnell, Pierce, Jackie Moe, and he raced against get the Gilmores. He raced against the best, and where do you put David Miller? He's number one in career earnings. He's another Hall of Fame driver. God, there's been so many great drivers that I've seen since the early '70s. I'd have to go down the list, but I think you got to include Dave Miller in the top 10 all time, only because not only did he do it, accomplish that feat with all the overnights, but he did it on the Grand Circuit. He was racing on the big stage against the best of the best, and you don't get to that 300 million mark by being by longevity. Well, part of it is longevity, obviously. I think David Miller is, I want to say late 50s, maybe 60-ish. I forget exactly. So you have to do it for an extended period of time, and you have to win the big money races on the big stage to get to that level. So based on that alone, you got to include Dave in the top 10. I was fortunate enough again to meet David Miller at Goshen during the July 4th weekend, Great American Weekend, and here's my photo that I got with David Miller.
Can you
And
put that back up, Charlie?
sure, here we go. And that was at Goshen somewhere on the back stretch. Again, I think this was, I want to say about 8 years ago. We both had more hair, a lot less hair. So yeah, about 8 years ago. And then here's the other photo that he signed for me at the autograph table. Very quiet, unassuming guy. Just goes about his business, and yeah. I also had the opportunity to, as I started driving in the Meadowlands Amateurs Club, I got to locker right next to David Miller, so that was sort of the purple corner, which was pretty cool. And you get to chit chat with him here and there, and super nice guy. And he's going to be missed. He's no longer racing in our area. He decided to, wind down in his final years, and he went back home to Ohio. I heard he built a nice house there, and he's going to finish his career there and still drive on the Grand Circuit. So yeah, congratulations to David Miller, and yeah, we look for him to be hitting that 300 million mark maybe tonight. Who knows?
He his brother's Brett Miller, right? Right, Charlie and Bob, or no,
Um,
or not related.
I
I
once
think I want to say it's Andy Miller and um, Irv Miller. They're brothers.
Right.
correct, and I want to say Brett Miller is related to. I forget.
Yeah, I don't know.
Brett is
Maybe
related to one of them. I think it's Bob. Do you
maybe not.
remember who Brett Miller's
Mm,
related to? I think he's related
No.
to Andy Miller. I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's forget about it. And
Obviously.
the point is though that like you said, it's almost like an Iron Man thing, like a Cal Ripken thing with David Miller.
yeah.
Yeah,
He just, I mean, he's been driving for a long time. And
yeah.
he drives like 2,000 races a year, because he does all the overnights. He'll be sitting
Mhm.
there doing all the overnights, even the cheap overnight races.
There were plenty of days I didn't like David Miller, but I always respected him.
Yeah,
He
he
gave me
he
some bad beats and stuff over time, you know.
Well, you know what?
he
I think you could pretty much say that about if you're a gambler, you could say that about every driver because they've
True.
all cost us money. They've also made money for us over the years.
Right.
And you
Yeah.
tend to remember more the ones, the tough beats than the big wins, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
I would say David to me he's more like a cerebral, like a patient type of driver.
Yeah.
You know, he's kind of working out trips, kind of very smart, always kind of making the right. Versus, you know, like I don't want to say Yannick and Dexter aren't cerebral. They're very cerebral. They're super smart, but you know they're kind of like almost guaranteed blasting off the gate every single time to the front. You know, um, so yeah, yeah, David Miller, that was a huge accomplishment. Just under 300 million, so he's probably gonna get 300 million. And just so you all know, and you're counting the money that he's making, so the drivers make 5%. So you can do the math. So 10% is 30 million. So he made
15
$15 million
million.
in his racing career, just driving horses. Just driving horses.
That's pretty good.
Not bad. Not a bad living.
It's good coin.
Yeah. So okay, so that was a big accomplishment. So David Miller is now the new purse earnings leader in all of harness racing history, at least in North America. I'm not sure of the world. I'm assuming the world probably.
Probably.
Uh, and I think Dave Pallone is still the leader in wins. I want to say Dave Pallone
Dave
over at
Malone
Meadows.
is, yeah, he's still the leader, and Aaron Merriman will surpass him one day because Aaron Merriman, I don't know how he does it.
Day and
So
night.
he races at the Meadows and drives. I think I want to say it's a couple of hours each way to the Cleveland area to race at Northfield. He just loves it. It doesn't phase him, and if he keeps up that pace and he stays healthy, he will one day eclipse David Pallone, which is unbelievable.
Yep. And Dave, speaking of longevity earlier, Dave Palone's the same thing. He only does the Meadows. You never see Dave Palone leaving the Meadows. He just does the Meadows, shows up every day, wins three, four, five races every day, and then just keeps chopping.
And
You
he's,
know.
I think he's like my age, like early 60s. I think he's 62 maybe. And yeah, I think he might be cutting back a little bit. I think I read maybe there was one day a week where I think he was going to maybe just play golf and not drive as much. But I happened to look at the driver's stand the other day, and guess who's at the top still? And look, he's going up against Aaron Merriman and Ronnie Wren, and Dave Pallone is still the perennial driving leader at the Meadows. I don't know how many consecutive years he's been at the top, but it's a ridiculous amount. And I'm pretty sure he led last year as well.
Yeah.
He's just I got to meet him too when I went out to the to the Meadows. Got to meet him and Aaron Merriman in the locker room and took pictures with them when me and my partner for Winter Circle, we were out there years ago, and he was racing in the amateurs and went into the locker room. That was pretty cool chatting with those guys. Yeah, big thrill.
Yep. So all right. So uh, we honor the legacy of Carmine Abbatiello in this video, and congratulations to David Miller in this video, and hopefully you all kind of learn a little bit about who these drivers are and or were or are, and it's a fun game. It's a fun game. When you start tracking this type of stuff, it's actually really fun. So,
And by the way,
um,
one last thing on David Miller. I don't know of any other driver that has two nicknames, Purple Jesus and the Buckeye.
yeah, yeah.
You got two nicknames.
Yeah,
Man,
you're
you're
there.
someone special.
You don't see the nicknames a lot anymore. Like, you know, Yannick was known as the Green Hornet for a
Right.
while. Brian Sears, White Knight.
Hmm.
Trying to think, Andy Miller, Orange Crush.
Right.
Try, who do you know of anybody else? Like, what's
Well, name
Dexter
a
Dunn?
driver.
No.
Let's see.
Dexter Dunn,
Carmine was the
no.
red man, obviously.
Ben,
Yeah,
Benny Webster used to be the minister of speed.
No, that was
That's George
George
Brennan.
Brennan.
George
Right.
Brennan. That's
Benny
it.
was Benny the Whip Webster because he was
Benny, yeah,
he
right.
was a slasher.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Uh,
don't know who started all these nicknames, who gave them nicknames. I even had a nickname briefly. One of my racing partners started calling me Charlie Longshot. Born with artist best. And that's the
yep,
last time I ever heard of anyone calling me that nickname, Charlie Longshot. But,
yep. So yeah, they both have great nicknames, and
Yeah.
um, uh, great accomplishments and great career for Carmine. So, all right, we're gonna kind of move this on to the next chapter. So now we're gonna go to the um, we're going to talk about the horses. So we do have some Paul Kelly updates on the horses. Nothing detailed, but because there's nothing really to note, and that's a good thing. Um, and then obviously we got the Rob Harmon updates, and then we got some replays to show you, and then we'll chat real quick on some of the staking for February. That's you're going to see on not on January statements. You'll see it on your February statements. Oh, January statements are in process, so hopefully at some point next week those will be sent out. Well, not hopefully, they should be next week sent out. Um, we got kind of a new process we're working on the background. That's why it's taking a little longer than normal. So, all right. With that being said, let's start with the horses. We're gonna go through them one by one. Just like we're gonna talk about some of the staking too. So, Adios My Lindy. So all the Paul Kelly babies have been in 230 to 234. So Adios My Lindy is obviously one of those. She's been well. Adios My Lindy is a 3-year-old, so she's on the straight track. She's doing interval training, which is quarter mile one way, quarter mile back the other way. So one interval is half mile. So she's doing 4 intervals a week when she does her training. She's doing it with the other ones like Corner Store, Geologic, Second Chapter. They're all doing it together, and she's doing fine. She's doing nothing to note on her side. Um, she's up to 4 intervals now, and talking about Adios My Lindy, just gonna give you a heads up on some of the staking for her. So, Adios My Lindy is this is the stake you're all kind of seeing the staking. Uh, this is like the in the background the staking invoices and stuff that we get. Um, so she's in February. You'll see a stake to the New Jersey Sire Stakes. They call it Platinum because now there's actually you know how in New York you have New York Sire Stakes and you have Excelsior, and in Pennsylvania you have Pennsylvania Sire Stakes and you have Stallion Series. New Jersey for a while hasn't had a second tier. So in 2026 they actually have a second tier now. So they have a Platinum, which is a regular New Jersey Sire Stakes, and they have a Silver, I think. I think it's called Silver, which is like the second tier. So the Platinum gets you into qualifies you for both. So that's going to be paid. New Jersey Standardbred Development Fund staking. So she'll be staked to that, and then New Jersey Classic Series, which is in September, and then Massachusetts. So she's really just more of like going to be more like a New Jersey, Massachusetts type staking. All right, moving on to the next horse. Beaueastel. He trained yesterday in. He trained this past week on Thursday at Big Z with Rob. He's doing well, and he is probably slated to qualify. I would say in probably like 2 weeks or so. Thinking like 2 weeks he'll qualify. Um, and assuming all goes well, he didn't really have a long break. Him in Invictus, he only had like 3 weeks, so he'll be into qualify. Hopefully in 2 weeks. Betelgeusebluechip, Betelgeusebluechip. He's been in 245. Rob's trying to get us a video for him in training in 245. He actually got an ear hood put on him recently this week just to kind of calm him down a little bit. If you notice his last training video, he kind of keeps lifting his head up a little bit when he's training. So he put an ear hood on. Rob put an ear hood on him to kind of calm him down so he's not kind of looking around so much. So it's actually helped out a lot. So he trained well in 245. I think that's the only thing to note with Beetlejuice. He's doing well. Um, Beyond the rules, she is same thing. Been in 230, 230, 234-ish. She's the fillies down in Florida are the ones who are kind of leading the groups because the colts right now, and this is normal. The colts right now, the baby colts right now are just kind of all over the place in as far as their mind. They're not as at this stage of the game, they're not as mature as the boys. So she's one of the girls leading the pack. She's just mature, so she knows how to be in the front, go fast, go slow. The boys kind of get all looking around everywhere, which is normal. They figure it out later on. Beyond the rules, she was staked in February to just Massachusetts. So which is usual. Paul keeps it simple. and so she'll be just Massachusetts. So you'll see that in your February statements. Um, Enola, we'll get to our first replay. We're gonna do Enola. She raced really well on Friday from the 7 hole. She just can't stop. Look at this. 9, 7, 8, 6, 8, 7. She can't stop drawing on the outside. It's ridiculous. All right, let's do this. She's a 7 horse.
I think this is the first time, correct me if I'm wrong, that Kikali is driving her.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean he really he gets her off the gate, and I was very excited here. Um, Unfortunately, inside of us we have Jason Bartlett. Just doesn't want to lose races. I mean, he gets the best horses, tries for the top trainer, and always seems to have a good post. That's some people are just very lucky. I mean, aside from all his talent. And I think Bartlett's 1-9 here, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So right then and there, we get away in a good spot with third, and I'm thinking if we could. I'm a little nervous here with Brent. This horse is on a gallop. Brent can't stop this horse. He can't get this horse back on stride. So you never like to see a horse inside of you. Granted, the horse is in the safety lane, but you just never know. And that's always like on my mind if this horse does something crazy to spook our horse. But Brent's got her safely out of the way, and she's going to continue. That horse is going to gallop just the whole entire way. Um, so yeah, we get away third here, and I'm thinking, man, if we can just get up for second, to me that's a win. Second place in this race against a 1-9 shot is like a win. Um, so Bartlett gets again. Bartlett is the master of the 32nd quarter. How do you beat this guy? You know. So she's just drafting in third, drafting in third. Um, Jimmy Marone's ahead of us at 31-1. I'm now he tips her outside, and I know we're going by the one. And I'm thinking, do we have a shot at getting Bartlett? Probably not. But I just want to see her finish strong and come close. And that gets us really excited for the following week when the laws of averages have to catch up to us, and we're going to get a good post. Maybe even the rail or the 2 hole. And then I think we have a great shot at getting our photo taken. But yeah, she's coming here. Some mile urging by Kikali, and she finishes strong, loses by about by a couple of lengths there, but very very game effort.
Yeah, I thought it was a great mile. I love the lead that got him in position. I mean, a 7 post at Yonkers can be tough, but she got him right into the game and then timed that move around that 31-1 shot at the right time. Just really, really solid performance.
Yep.
Yeah, she was really good. So she will be back in the box at Yonkers. She fits. She has to kind of jump 2 levels, but it should be okay. She's racing really really well right now. So she's if she draws inside, I think she should still be very competitive in that
Yeah.
race.
Yeah.
So she'll be back at Yonkers Friday. Draw is tomorrow, Monday. All right. For whom the bell tolls. For whom the bell tolls is she has arrived in Big Z. She's at Big Z, so you can. A couple of the owners already visited her. She's more of a taller. She's not like a giant. So I was talking to Rob this morning. She's not a giant, but she is taller. She definitely is on the taller side of horses. So she's a beautiful, taller, amazing looking horse. She's actually been in training. She's been in like 235 down in Florida, which she's already in shape because she's a 3-year-old, so it's different than babies. But she will train this week. She already jogged. She's already jogged already. Might have jogged today. We got a video of it, so we will put that up. And I think that's it. So she'll train this week. She's doing well. Rob made some equipment changes because they said the trainers down in Florida said she was getting a little hot. So because she was all closed up, meaning she had like a blind bridle on and everything. So um, um, Rob took off that, so she had an open bridle, and Rob said she was fine. She wasn't hot or anything. She just did well. So she is beginning her journey, and she's just going to be training for the next month or so, and hopefully qualify. Um, at the end of March or beginning of April. And by the way, and Paul's horses too, the 3-year-olds, he's targeting end of March, just like last year, end of March, beginning of April to qualify. Probably beginning of April for Paul. All right. Geologic raced on Geologic didn't race. Geologic has been training. He's been doing 4 intervals. We actually got a lot of video of Geologic. So if you've been on our YouTube page, we actually got a lot of video of Geologic doing these straight track training. And he was, we weren't sure what Paul was going to do as far as staking. Kind of didn't know where Paul was going to land. So he ended up staking to the Battle of Bunker Hill at Plain Ridge in mid-May, Massachusetts, and of course he got to Massachusetts, and I think that was it. So we thought he was going to be staked like crazy to the world, but Paul is kind of keeping it simple with him. So it looks like it's going to be Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, and a couple of early races in May, either at Oak Grove or Plain Ridge. So that's the story with Geologic as far as its early staking. Gretzky the Great. Gretzky the Great is been swimming, so he's just swimming right now at Big Z. He's going to be doing that for the next month or so, probably. Invictus, he came back in. He trained last week on Thursday. Same thing as Beaueastel. He's doing fine. We actually got a video clip of him jogging or training, and he's targeted for about 2 weeks from now to qualify. So probably like we're looking at probably like March 1st, something like that. These horses, him and Beaueastel, didn't really need very long to come back because they only had like 3 weeks off. Just Rose's luck. She is next. We got a video of her. She was just in a tough race. She was on Tuesday.
Yeah, as Pedro had mentioned, I think in the email, this race went in 54-4, which was a full second faster than the 50 claimers that night. So she was in tough. She raced against some good ones. I was kind of hoping Austin might take a shot and leave here, but he elects to pull back, and then Colin Kelly sees that he's not leaving, so he decides to go. And of course, Jason Bartlett shoots out there. Good old Bartlett. And right here we get away fifth. And at this point, figure it's probably going to be a tough race for us. Just hoping we can grab some cover here and or get a good trip staying in.
There's not a lot of options when you get out of the way on fifth on a half-mile track. You gotta look for some racing luck.
Yeah, and as we know, she's better leaving the gate. But I mean, there was some good ones in here, and Austin probably just decided, his bet was to, just race from the back here. And nice clip, 27-4 for the quarter. Stratton's on the lead with the even money shot here, 57.5. So as we head into the backside here, it's gapping a little bit, and the 5 gets the jump on us. So right here, we're pretty much resigned to staying in. I'm thinking, all right, I'm feeling like we're going to get a check here. I'm feeling like we're going to get fifth, okay, for sure. Jimmy Marone is behind us now. Austin kind of tips out here. In hindsight, he was probably better off just staying where he was. 6 gets inside of us, and gets the 5th place money. Had we sat in, do we get the 5th place check? Probably, maybe even better. Who knows? I mean, it's hard to see how these races are going to unfold. Once you make a decision and you make the wrong choice. But it is what it is. That's racing, and we just got to look for a softer spot for. She's been in tough the last couple, for sure.
Yeah. That was really the only thing that bugged me. Because at first I watched the race and I was kind of like, oh man, I was kind of hoping for a little more, either get off to the front or something. And then when I saw the fractions at the end of the, how fast that race went, and I was kind of like, dang, I was like, wow, she got into a really tough race. And then that fifth place drove me nuts. That's when that I was kind of just like, man, at that point you gotta like surrender and you gotta just be like, oh, I need to get a check at this point. The easiest way, everyone, I mean, just to anyone who's kind of new to ownership, obviously the more inside you are, the more ground you save, and then you have to make that other horse go around you, go outside to try to beat you. So, hindsight's 2020. I'm sure Austin wants that back too, to because he always wants to get the check also. And
Pedro, we typically don't get too excited about fifth place checks unless you're racing at Yonkers. Fifth place checks,
Right.
yeah,
they're kind
yeah,
of substantial. They
yeah.
add up. It's not chump change.
Yeah, $700 I think. So, I mean, so that covers the race costs plus some.
Mhm.
So um, that's why that's the thing that kind of hurt me. I was kind of like, all right, well, if we got $700, and I'm like, then you kind of got something for it at least that we can kind of keep fighting. So, but anyway, it didn't happen. But she's gonna be like you said, Charlie. She'll be in not cheaper. She'll be in lower next week. She is in the box on. I think it's on Tuesday for Saratoga on Sunday. She'll have a 15 tag on her, 15 optional 15 claimer tag on her at Saratoga. Um, and it should be a lot softer. You shouldn't be dealing with these Yonkers horses.
Hmm.
These fillies, these mares, that 20 claimer at Yonkers, it's almost kind of like a mini open, where any of these horses who are decent, but they're not good enough for the condition races. It's kind of like an open. It's hard to explain, because how do I say this? It's Yonkers is the biggest purses in the game, and everybody knows it. And because of that, everybody's always trying to stuff these horses into these claiming races, and they can be brutal sometimes. Some of
Hmm.
these claiming races. So anyway, with that being said, Rosas, she's doing fine, healthy, and everything. So she'll be in Saratoga and on Sunday, and hopefully she draws inside, and we'll get Jay Randall. So all right, next up is Lovinonlouiev. Lovinonlouiev is so the big news with him is he actually got his name changed. So his name is now Coach Brooks. So Miracle on Ice,
Oh,
Coach
yeah.
Brooks from Miracle. His Lebanon Louis. His name is now Coach Brooks from Miracle on Ice.
And by the way, if there's a new documentary out on the Miracle on Ice hockey team, and it's amazing. It's on Netflix. Just watched it last week. If you haven't, you need to tune in and check it out. It's pretty awesome, and reveals a lot about Coach Brooks, which I didn't know about how the players felt about him, and they weren't all complimentary. He was a
He was a
tough.
demanding guy.
Yep, yep. So maybe we'll
um,
get lucky and we'll have the success that Coach Brooks had with
That'd be sweet.
the Olympic hockey team and in his career.
Yeah.
yes.
That would be
You
something.
never know. At this point, the beauty with the babies is they're all champions at this point. You know, there's
Yeah.
the sky's the limit. They could be anything. So yeah, Coach Brooks is his name. He's been in around 232, 230 to 234 ish. Um, he's doing fine, and stakes wise, He's a New York. Uh, he's a New York horse. So stakes wise, loving on Louis or now Coach Brooks. He actually did not have any stakes payments for February. So I think March is when his first New York stakes payments come. Um, so that's Coach Brooks. He's doing well. Newly named Coach Brooks. Um, Ma's always right. She's had some. She's also the same thing. They're all been 230, 234. She is. Um, she's doing just fine, and there's actually a pretty good video of her doing a training video, and she got a nice way that she goes about herself. So she was just staked to the Massachusetts, and that's kind of normal. So all these Massachusetts horses, especially like the international money, because International Money is not like a premier stallion like Walner, Chapter 7, Muscle Hill, stuff like that. He's more of like a second tier, but he can still produce nice horses. So Paul's not going to be going crazy staking those horses. So our horses this year with Paul are not expected to be staked heavily, which is kind of what we're seeing so far. So Miles all right. She's just Massachusetts right now. I'm sure she'll get Pennsylvania, um, and she's doing fine. All right, Mine Hunter is next. He raced yesterday at Saratoga. He had the 5 post. Jay Randall.
Yeah, so right off the bat, the 8th shoots out of there. And I'm like, all right, we're going to get away 6th. Not ideal. So we're going to hope for some racing luck here and hope for a trip. It's all dependent on the trip here. And this race kind of bugged me a little bit only because, you have Larry Stahlbaum here sitting last, way back there, 35-1, I think he was. Okay, and after the first quarter, once he hits that turn, he decides, he pulls on the right line. I'm like, oh man, where you going, Larry? Right here. Where you going, Larry? And what does that mean? That means Jay's got to make a decision. Do I stay in or do I pull? So Larry flushes Jay out and we're underway real early. I didn't want to be out there, third over at this point, even before the half. I mean, that's a tough spot. So yeah, had Larry not done that, we're still probably sitting in for a little bit, saving a lot more ground. And to me, that changed, the entire complexity of the race, right there. So now we're 4th over because
this guy comes out.
yeah, the Pocket Rocket was sitting, and Strong Brush, he goes by, I guess that's Matt Thurn there that had the lead on the 4. So right now we're kind of not doing much, but now he's starting to kick into gear a little bit, but just a little bit too late. And I think he came home actually. I think we had the fastest last quarter in that race, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was 28. But that's not the type of race that we need. I just think too he just needed just one more race under his belt. I think he's going to be a lot sharper next time out. He's
I
going to
think
have,
you got to like the finishing energy there. He did look solid late, and
yeah.
there were lots of things going on in that race that didn't go his way, but I
Exactly right.
think he kicked home pretty decent.
Yeah,
Exactly.
he's just a quirky horse. I mean, we've seen it now. It's like he's got all the power. We've seen him do these big miles for us, but he just like in this race. I mean, those as you can see, the back half here went in 56-1. So he was like 6-7 lengths behind at the half. So I mean, he would have had to do a 55 flat to even
Right.
to win this race, which is kind of asking a lot right now for a horse that hasn't raced in 4 months. So to me, it looked like a couple of things. One, like you both said, Charlie and Bob, it looked like um, kind of got screwed a little bit with just how the race went when the 8 got to the front and you sit in 6.5 miles. Kind of like, dang, that's not good. You're sitting 6 on a half-mile track, and they had a slow first half too to begin with.
Right.
So it was kind of like, all right, do you stay on the rail? And then if he stays on the rail, then Jay Randall's basically retreating for a check. He's basically saying, I just want to get a check here and move on. Or do you go outside and try to make something happen? He went outside, tried to make something happen, and then it looks like the horse also, he was kind of like, oh, how do I say it? He was kind of like being reminded that you got to go super fast. Like, you saw how he was gapping for a bit, and then finally he starts going to hyperdrive, and it's like, whoa, where'd that come from? You should have. So we've seen that before where he does that. He takes a little bit to get into that hyperdrive. Hopefully now the horse kind of remembers, like, all right, I got to go really fast in these races. You know, um, hopefully next time when you get to the half, he just kind of kicks it right into gear, and we can. I would love to see like a 55 and change back half. If we see a 55 and change back half, then we know My Hunters is truly back. big time.
Yeah.
He looks like he's back. That was a really good race from like
Yeah,
you
that
guys
was
said.
tight.
And Jay
But
likes driving the horse, and I think he's more familiar with them now, and I think he's going to be heard from once we get the right spot, good post and all, and Jay's going to have his way with him, and I think we'll be all right. Yeah.
yeah, he's an interesting horse in that he doesn't really have like he doesn't really have the greatest gate speed. He can protect his post position, but he doesn't really have that gate speed to like fly off the gate. So we kind of need an inside post to be at his best. So yeah, hopefully we draw better. He will be in the box for next week. He will be he actually gets to drop down a class, which is so that was kind of the benefit. Not getting a check. If we got fifth place, we would have to be in the same class again. So by not getting fifth place, we actually got dropped down.
Mm.
So it actually worked out in that regard. Um, so we'll see. Let's hope he draws okay. Draws tomorrow, and it looks like he needed that to kind of like wake up. That happened with Skybox too, where it's like he kind of needed that those big races to be like, hey, you gotta go 100%, in these races. So anyway, he was good. Rob was happy. Rob talked to Rob this morning. He was happy with him. Jay was happy with him, and we'll see where he is next week. On Tap Lindy. On Tap Lindy is 230, 234. He's doing fine down in Florida. And staking, it's probably just Massachusetts. Uh, and yeah, Massachusetts, that's it. So he's just got Massachusetts. So it's pretty light for February from a staking perspective. Um, so that's on Tap Lindy. He does some videos of him jogging, not training yet, but jogging. He looks great. Seen Lindy, 230, 234. She's leading one of the groups, and she is also just Massachusetts. So it's pretty light. It's $100 for Massachusetts for the horse. Um, all right, that's the staking for Seen Lindy. Seven Seagrams. She has been, I think they've been in 245. Rob said he's happy with all the babies, all three of them. And Rob really hasn't really been messing with her equipment too much. She kind of has like a really nice gait to her, really nice. She's kind of been doing it all right. You ever hear trainers say, "Oh, they've been doing it all right. They haven't done anything wrong." She's kind of one of those, which has kind of been doing it all right from the beginning. Um, so nothing to note on her staking wise. She was staked to New Jersey because she's a New Jersey bred, sired with six pack. Staked to New Jersey Standard Bred Development Son, and then this Meadowlands participation. Um, it's a new staking for Meadowlands to participate at the Meadowlands. It's a thing that Jeff Garral and the Meadowlands ownership instituted this year, and that's to be qualified for like the kindergarten series and things like that. Um, so that's seven Seagrams. Um, Ship's Revenge, from a broodmare standpoint, is up in Binghamton, New York, with Ali Scavera, and well, I mentioned in the last meeting, we got a breeding for American Courage, so that's in order. So we're all contracted with Blue Chip now, Blue Chip Farms. So once we're ready to get that semen shipped from Blue Chip Farm. Though there's a whole process, everyone. This is like we went from the racing side to like farming pretty much. So they're gonna whenever we're ready, we let Blue Chip know, and they will collect the semen from American Courage, and then they will transport it by FedEx to the farm, and then the vet at the farm will artificially, I guess that's the phrase, inseminate. Someone's going to correct me. Ship's revenge, and then we just hope that they're going to check her every now and then, hope that she gets in full. She right now, though, that's not going to happen until she shows signs of being in heat. So right now she's kind of under the lights, which is like these artificial. They turn the lights on at nighttime and stuff. They're trying to make it. They're trying to trick her body into thinking that spring is here. Because right now, you know how like the days are short. Um, it basically keeps the light on low longer to trick her that the springtime, even though it's not. And then once she starts showing signs of being in heat, which is like there's some pretty weird. I don't want to say weird. It's animal kingdom stuff that they do to show that they're ready for breeding and stuff. Um, she like makes noises and stuff like different, not neigh, like different noises. Um, and there's some geldings in the farm, so she starts kind of like approaching the geldings, and just kind of like that's how you kind of know that she's might be in heat. So that's kind of the broodmare world for all the people on the broodmare. That's what's going on. So once they get a feeling that she's in heat, we're going to start the breeding process, and that'll probably be in March. So it's probably like a month away. It's probably like 2 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks away from breeding her, with the goal of having a February foal next year. So Ship's Revenge doing fine. Skybox, we didn't have a race with Skybox. No, we didn't have a race this week. He is in to go on Thursday at Yonkers in the 40 claimer. So he has a $40,000 claiming tag on him. He has post 2, Colin Kelly. We went back to Colin Kelly because Colin drove him really great at Meadowlands, and he knows that Skybox needs to be driven aggressively. So we'll see what happens. And we're 5-1 in the morning line. And we just, even though he's not that good in the half, it's kind of a waste of time to be racing for 6th, 7th, 8th place, 5th place at Meadowlands in the open. It's just so trying to find a better spot where we have a chance to win. The purse is, I think, 18,000 is really good. Soho Skyfall. We just gave him this weekend off, even though this weekend was actually pretty warm, but we just wanted to get him another week that was normal weather. Every time we put him to race, not to qualify. When he qualified, it was like perfect condition. Every time we put him to race, it was like the worst day ever. He had that monsoon that he was racing where it was 35 degrees but raining like crazy. It was just so we gave him a week. He'll be in the box tomorrow or Saturday at Saratoga, along with my hunter, and he fits pretty low, so we'll see how he does. And hopefully he just kind of like, I'm gonna hope that this kind of like polar vortex thing is kind of behind us and the weather just kind of stays consistent, and then we're just gonna race him, and hopefully he kind of accepts his new life, accepts his new life in the northern hemisphere. So that's Soho Skyfall. Solar Queen, she trained 245. We'll do her staking. She's doing fine. She had an ear hood put on her to calm her down. Rob said she was a little hot, so he put an ear hood on to calm her down, and it helped a lot. Her staking, she doesn't have New York staking yet, but she was staked to the Meadowlands participation. Same thing. That's for like the kindergarten stakes, stuff like that at Meadowlands. We want to be able to race at Meadowlands if the horse is good enough, because it's the best track out there. And last but not least, second chapter. He's been doing the interval training with Geologic, Adios My Lindy, Corner Store, and doing fine. He's been doing up to 4 intervals now. Staking for him is, let's check out his staking. He got New York Sire Stakes. The 3-year-olds New York Sire Stakes are in February, so you'll see that, the 750. And Paul's keeping it cheap on him, so that's it. Paul's just staking him to New York. And he's actually been training really well. There's actually another video we're gonna put up soon of him, so you can kind of see again how he gets around the track. So it's actually pretty nice. He actually does have a nice trot to him. All right. Anything else, guys? I think that's all we got with the horses.
Yeah.
I think we pretty much all covered it. Went a little long today, but that's okay. I think I'm good on my end.
Yep, I'm good.
All right, guys. Thank you, Bob, for the special guest this weekend.
Thanks for inviting me. Looking forward to it.
You're welcome. All right, guys. Have a good weekend, and everyone else, good luck with your horses. Take care.
So long.
All right.